Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Random Fandom. I am your host, Mr. Luke, and this over here is Brad. It's been a while, Brad, since we've done a Random Fandom. It's good to be back in the saddle.
It is. It's been since February. I went and looked.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that's been a while. It's been a while. So before we get started, I'm going to give it to Brad for our sponsor today.
Awesome. We're going to start out with Fresh Cuts, local barbershop in Marion, Indiana, run by Caleb Kemper. Fresh Cuts, it's not just a haircut, it's an experience. Book with Caleb now at www.freshcutsbarbershop.com. I am currently the picture on the left. I am a little more shaggier than I'd like to be, but in a week or so, I will be the other picture. I use some of his products. I use the pomade that's there in the top middle, and it's great. He does everything by himself. Everything is made natural products. He is open Mondays and Tuesdays. Well, I mean, he's open all the time, but Mondays and Tuesdays are the best days to try to get in with him as he's not as busy. But seriously, hit my guy up. He supports us really well. Great friend to the podcast. We also have Steve Wood Illustration. You can follow here via his Facebook website, Instagram. He has a website. Contact him through Gmail. Shoot him a message on one of those sites. And reach out. I know he does kind of everything. If you are looking for a particular kind of picture or just something for one of your nerdy friends that you don't really know what to get for, he does Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, G.I. Joe, just kind of everything in the book. And they're all super well done, and we are happy to have him as a sponsor. We're going to move on to the Culture Corner podcast, previously known as the Afro Latinos podcast. They are under construction as of right now. Not sure when it's going to be up. I know that he is in some productions that is going to run most of the summer. But Aubin and his wife Shaylin will be running the Culture Corner. I know he's going to have a couple sports segments that he's talked about having jocks on for. And it's going to be really neat. I like where it's going. And of course, he's been super supportive of us and been on multiple times. Next, we're going to go to the Rules of the Frame podcast, which is a movie review podcast. Connor runs that with a friend of his, and he will actually be joining us for Smashed Popcorn episodes down the line, just to have another movie fanatic on with us and talk us through stuff. They are on Spotify. You can find them on Facebook to follow their page, but most of their episodes are exclusively through Spotify. And our last but not least is 1,000 Wives of Weird, which is exactly that, very weird. But they are awesome. Brad Hefner and Billy Martell run that podcast, also exclusively through Spotify. And they kind of go through all these like backwards B, even C-list movies, and explain how they got made, what makes them special, why they love them, kind of some crazy takes on a lot of things. But Billy is a recurring guest with us, and I just love having him on because he is a ball of energy and he's fun. But anyways, those are all of our sponsors and friend casts. Thank you so much for all of you for your influence and friendship.
Thanks, Brad. No, and thank you to all of our sponsors. You're the ones that are able to make this podcast happen, able to make it look as good as it does. And so we're very, very grateful for all of you and for your support. All right, let's get started. Today is going to be a fun one because today we are doing top 5 Looney Tunes characters. I have to thank Brad for this idea because this idea is amazing. I can't believe I didn't think of it, but I'm so excited to do it. I first thought, okay, I know what my top 5 are, but then as I started looking through a bunch, I'm like, oh, there are going to be like 5 billion honorable mentions. So it's going to be a fun time. I think, Brad, we each have like 4 honorable mentions this time around.
We do, because if you know anything about Looney Tunes, there's just a boatload of characters. So I specifically kind of tags just some of my favorite episodes, as in like some of the people that appear. So I can tell you where they are. And in addition to that, I can tell you the biggest database that I am familiar with on where to find most episodes of Looney Tunes. And I'm going to share that here in just a second.
Ooh.
So if you don't have HBO Max, you should have HBO Max because it has a lot of the classic episodes, some of the newer episodes, but it definitely has some of the ones that you wouldn't usually find most places. I know that my internet's kind of given out on me there. But HBO Max was such a wonderful database. When I was building this list, I used it quite a bit to watch some episodes and say, oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about X, Y, or Z. Or, oh, that's right. They were in that episode and it was fantastic. So I guess that's also a plug for HBO Max. HBO Max owes me money. Anyways,
If only.
Without further ado, I guess we're kind of at our top 5.
All right. Brad, as we always do, why don't you get us started with number 5? We'll go through number 2, give you our honorable mentions, and then we'll give you the gold medal spot.
Sweet. Look, this one's going to be controversial just because of how low this classic character is on my list. But I just love some funny moments from other characters that has to put it up there for my stuff. 5 for me is Yosemite Sam. And literally from anything at all.
Yes.
Especially I'm thinking Buccaneer Bunny, any of the like medieval ones, the Rome one, any of those are fantastic. But Buccaneer Bunny is really funny. Yosemite Sam is just perfect. A wonderful foil to Bugs Bunny. I think I like Elmer Fudd, but I think Yosemite Sam is a much better foil to Bugs Bunny and much funnier when he's there. But yeah, that's correct. That's my 5.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. No, Yosemite Sam is on my list, but we'll come to him a little bit later. For number 5, this is one that doesn't show up a lot, but when he does, it's like I'm thinking of just, his main episode. It's hilarious. I have to go with Michigan J. Frog.
Yep.
That is the hello, my baby, hello, my honey, hello, my ragtime. It is incredibly funny, and it just because it's relatable, because we all have felt that kind of frustration when we do something really cool and no one's there to see it, and when we do something bad, everyone sees it. Yep. So it's relatable and it's just plain hilarious. So I have to have Michigan J. Frog at number 5.
I like it.
All right. Number 4. What do you have for us, Brad?
Yeah, another classic character of sorts. He is literally out of this world. It is Marvin the Martian. I'm thinking specifically Hairway to the Stars, but still, either way, he's just a goofball, and I love it.
Yes. No, I forget which episode it was. Is that one the one where it's the I've lost my Illudium Pew 36 explosive space modulator?
I don't know. I can't remember.
But no, that's the one episode that I watched. I forget which one it was called. But that one is hilarious because it's just trying to foil Bugs Bunny, and at the very end it's run to the hills, folks, or you'll be up to your armpits in Martians. So it's hilarious. It's a very funny one. So yeah, no, I definitely agree that he's a funny one. For mine, he's definitely not out of this world, but you could just say he's just a down on the farm kind of guy. I got to go with Foghorn Leghorn. Yes. No. That, number 1, he's a family favorite in our house, but just every time he talks, you can't help but bust the gut. It's That's like, true. You're way off. Now I say you're way off this time, son. You got yourself a trunk. Big suitcase, that is. And I'm just like, you're guffawing the whole time. But no, so Foghorn Leghorn, I would definitely recommend watching any episode with Foghorn Leghorn. especially when he's like mentoring this little chicken hawk. The hilarity is incredible. So I definitely have to go with Foghorn Leghorn as my number 4.
I like it. That is a wonderful pick. So that leads us to number 3.
Yes, it does.
Another not sorry. I forgot to add an episode, and it's gonna drive me nuts. I'll just come back to it, but that's okay. We'll figure that out. That's right. So number 3, she does not get as much love as I think she needs to. The top 3 are house favorites. But number 3, look, you have to have the classic Witch Hazel from Broomstick Bunny. She is hilarious. I absolutely enjoy that there are bobby pins that are left behind every time she goes somewhere. It's super funny. I like anything that she's in.
No, that is a hilarious one. I had forgotten about Witch Hazel. That's a good one, though. That's a very good one. At number 3, though, this is where I have to put Yosemite Sam. Yosemite Sam is just, again, like what Brad said, anything he's in. My personal favorite with him is probably Bunker Hill Bunny, which is the Revolutionary War one, which just the setup of it at the very beginning between the forts, when it's them and we, is hilarious. And then just when Yosemite Sam's first charge is just him marching with a drum just to get blown to smithereens when the door to Bugs' fort opens up. That is hilarious. And then as he beats the drum on the way back, it's even funnier. So, no, I definitely have to have Yosemite Sam at number 3.
Sweet. That's going to lead us to 2. This was hard because the golden medalist for me, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. The golden medalist for me is a better character, but the person in silver has the better episode. I have to go with Count Blood Count from Transylvania 6500.
Oh my gosh.
You wouldn't hit a bat with glasses on, would you?
No, that one's a hilarious one. That one is funny. It's like, I am a vampire. Oh, yeah, well, I'm an umpire. Abracadabra. Hocus pocus.
My favorite is when he's under the brick. Now I crush you.
Abracadabra.
Augers. Augers.
Abracadabra. No, that one's a good one. That one's very funny. Very funny.
A quote that Dad does to us all the time, and it is probably my favorite line from that. Goodbye, little friend. I mean, good night. Nope.
I can actually see your dad doing that, and that makes it 10 times funnier.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, I'm sure it is. My number 2 is because, okay, my gold medalist for me, because it is a top 10, I framed it as a top 10 and not just the top 10 favorites. The number 1 was clear to me, but I love this number 2 so much because he is the comic to the gold medalist's straight man. And why am I Kyle now?
Oh, wait, was that the wrong button?
It was. But no, so my number 2 has to be Daffy Duck.
Okay, yep.
Daffy Duck's episodes with whoever he interacts with are hilarious. It can be Bugs. It can be Elmer Fudd. It can be Porky Pig. It can be Marvin the Martian. He plays off of everyone magnificently. And it's just all the episodes he's in. I'm thinking particularly of Duck Amuck, when it's him versus the cartoonist. And just, I bust a gut so many times watching that episode because it is so hilarious, and it's just Bugs. It's not Bugs. It's just Daffy Duck solo mode being hilarious, and so I have to give it to Daffy Duck at that point for my number 2.
That's fair.
All right, before we unveil our number 1 picks, I think it's time we had some honorable mentions. So, Brad, why don't you start us off?
Yep, this is in no particular order, really. I have to do Beaky Buzzard from The Lion's Busy. I don't know if you've seen that one, but the lion turns 10 and the buzzard is trying to eat him the whole time because lions only make it till 10 years old. And he talks like this. I'm gonna eat you. Yep.
I think I've seen that character in another cartoon when it's kind of him and Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
Yes. That's the one I've seen.
No.
Nope. I don't wanna go up. Oh no, that one's hilarious. What else do we have?
I have Wile E. Coyote. I cannot.
As do I.
The episode. But there was one where he kept coming up to Bugs' like hole and putting up a door and then knocking, and he'd open. He's like, "My name is Wile E. Coyote. I am faster, smarter," and it was great.
No, I'm more intelligent than you are, and I am a genius. While you couldn't pass the entrance exams to kindergarten.
I just love the end. Mine is mud. Mud spelled backwards is dumb.
No, that one's hilarious. I remember that one. That one's a good one. I also have Wile E. Coyote. Let's see. And what are the rest of your honorable mentions?
I have the Abominable Snowman. That is the one that I could not remember the episode from. But it's with Daffy and Bugs. And I will love him and squeeze him and call him George.
And name him George. That's the best one. Yeah, that's the best one. And is that all 4?
I have one more. That was 3. You've got one more. Nasty Canasta from Barbary Coast Bunny.
Ooh, I don't think I've seen that one.
I don't know if you have it. You can't find it anywhere. I'm still trying to find it. But I used to watch that one like crazy. It's like Gold Rush era. And Bugs runs into a rock at the beginning and flips it over, and it's gold. This is massive gold. This guy steals it from him and opens a casino. So he's like, of course you realize this won't go unchallenged. He comes and pretends he's like some backwards like hick. He comes in, can I use your telephone, soy? And goes up to a slot machine and starts winning money. Like no matter what he plays, he wins money. And so it's like, oh, sure, friend. We can play another little game. How about draw poker? So Bugs sits there, draws an actual poker and hands it up. How's this? No, he's explaining the game, and he says, you have to have a bigger hand than your opponent. Bugs starts blowing up his glove and making the hand bigger. Let's see what else happens in that. It was just really funny. He's like, you guys have marbles? Oh, sure, marbles. You know, the table and does the marble. And no matter how he tries to fix the game, Bugs wins. And it's super funny. Takes him for all his money. But I think that's the only episode that character's in. But just his accent and that whole episode and his faces are just really funny.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's the beauty of some of these rarer characters is that they are hilarious in what they're doing and how they play off of the other characters that they are playing off of, and it's hilarious. Yeah. My honorable mentions, I also had Wile E. Coyote. I also had to put in Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew is hilarious in just all of his running around and just the French accent. I can't get over the French accent. It's like, where are you, Pigeon? I am looking somewhere to find you. You know, it is possible to be too attractive. So no, Pepe Le Pew is another one. I had to go with Lola Bunny.
Okay.
Because, so number 1, she's on the Space Jam, which is hilarious. Number 2, if you've seen any of the more recent Looney Tunes to come out, her character is just so ditzy and but still likable, that is just hilarious. And so I would have to recommend Lola Bunny. And then my fourth one is Little Red Riding Hood from Little Red Riding Rabbit. And you can never, because the traditional depiction of Little Red Riding Hood is, you have the sweet little girl going to take, food to her grandma. But then they turn it on its head and make her so obnoxious. It is hilarious. I got a cute little bunny rabbit to take to my grandma's to have, see? And it just becomes so hilarious and hysterical.
I was really tempted to put in Hansel and Gretel just for the, it's good, yeah, it's good. The really terrible little German accents. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Oh, that's funny. All right, we are to our number one picks. Brad, why don't you go for it?
I will. Unfortunately, you know the answer to this because you asked who would be on my list, and I didn't mention them. He's in a couple episodes, but I think the biggest one is Rabbitkin. It has to be Pete Puma. Oh my gosh, I love that doing that voice. It's just so stupid.
How many lumps do you want?
Oh, 3 or 4. My favorite is when he dresses up as the rabbit's mother. I've been so worried about you. Yeah, I'd forgotten I knew how to do that voice until I rewatched it last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love Pete Puma every time.
No, the laugh is the best part of his character. It's like, he talks like this and then...
My favorite has to be the end. I'm your cousin, Paul Puma, giving him the call. Say, how many lumps do you want? Oh, you better give me a whole lot of lumps. Don't hit him. Oh, I'll do it. I'll help myself. It's great.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. That's funny. Mine, because it's less of a favorite and more of a top 5, I have to go with Bugs Bunny. That dude steals the show every time he's on the screen. I think one of my favorite episodes with him is when he is performing like at a concert with Daffy Duck, and everything Bugs does gets massive applause. And the only thing Daffy can do to even remotely get a cheer from the audience is literally blow himself up.
Yeah.
So that is hilarious. And then all of his hijinks with Elmer Fudd between rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season. There's a reason why he's the face of Looney Tunes, and it's just because he's hilarious, and he's the top one for me.
Yep. I have a favorite, or I would have had him in there. Like, I love Bugs, I really do, but like some of those small characters just stick with you forever. And Bugs,
they do.
Bugs, it's funny. I can go to anything with Bugs and it's funny, but just some of these small characters that they made, I was like, what brainwave were you guys on for this? Because it's funny.
And then you just think it's probably just
funny.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you just think about it, Mel Blanc is voicing like almost all of these characters.
Oh yeah.
And then it's just, how did you think up all of these voices?
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible. It's incredible. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been top 5 Looney Tunes characters with your boys, Luke and Brad. This has been Jocks of All Trades, Random Fandom, and we will see you all on the next episode.